She's yawned immediately.
There's a delay.
Oh, it's late. There is a delay. Anyway, hey Ma, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Good. I have a question for the people. Do you need life insurance? Are you trying to buy a house? If so, do you know who to go to? Do you know what to look for when you are looking for an agent, whether it's a life insurance agent or a real estate agent, or the difference between brokers and agents? It's really confusing. There's a lot to consider. And then also, how do you know if you're a good client for that? Like you hear other you hear all these stories about agents talking about these types of clients that they have had. That's English. And you don't want to be one of those bad clients, you know? That's what we gonna talk about today. That's what we're gonna answer today, right?
Okay, let's get into it.
Yes. Just just so you know, my name is Ariana Johnson. I am a licensed life and health producer based in the state of Maryland, also serving New Jersey and Tennessee. And this is my mother.
Yes, this is my oldest daughter, my co-host, my wonderful co-host. I am Shanita Johnson, licensed real estate broker in the great state of Tennessee, also licensed in Mississippi. And I'm sipping tea today.
To give the tea. So we know what we talking about a little bit. We we can give you the info. We can
We're
give
here.
you the tea.
The tea.
The tea. So when you are looking for your agent, whether it's in life insurance or actually no, mother, how about you tell the people the difference between a broker and an agent?
That is a really great question that people don't often know the answer to. So, a real estate agent. So, back up. There are two types of real estate licenses in all states. They're named different things. I'm going to speak for Tennessee and Mississippi. So, Tennessee, you have an agent license or an affiliate broker license, and you have a broker's license. Affiliate broker, agent, same thing. So, an agent or an affiliate broker in Tennessee is the first step to a license. That is an independent contractor who has to work under another broker. They cannot work independently. So, an agent is a licensed real estate professional who has to work under a broker. That broker is their supervisors, even though you're an independent contractor. But they can do everything that a real estate broker can do, but they have to work under a broker. Second type of license, broker's license. That's the highest license you can have. There are only two. That's the highest real estate license you can get. A broker, as a broker with a broker's license, you can either work under another broker or you can have your own brokerage. It doesn't matter, just depends on you. So, an agent has to work under a broker. A broker can work independently or with another broker. So, but in different states, they're called different things. Like I said, in
Yeah.
Tennessee, an agent is an affiliate broker agent, same thing. And then the other license is the broker's license. In Mississippi, an agent is called a salesperson, and then the broker is a broker. So it'll be different things in different states, but agent has to work for a broker. Broker can work independently or with another broker. So it's just two types of licenses. That's all. And the difference,
Yeah,
oh, let me
it's
say
very
this last
similar.
thing. And the difference is the difference is the education. So as a broker, there's more education that is required. So that's it. Okay, I'm done. Back to my tea.
No, it's good information because it if you're a client looking for something, especially the fact that you mentioned more education, somebody might be more inclined to go to someone with more education but more experience, and they might go towards a broker rather than just an agent. And it is a there are some similarities when it comes to life insurance because you have agents and brokers as well. But to my best understanding and explanation, um, all brokers are agents, but not all agents are brokers. So,
Okay.
um, a broker, a life insurance broker, they have more access. There's something called a captive agent and a non-captive agent. So if you think of a
Are
captive agent, they are no, not.
they're
I mean, if you want to
hostages?
think about it contractually, probably. So a captive, I'm gonna be thinking about that. Um, a captive agent, is just that it's an agent.
Yes.
They work under one insurance company. So, say for instance, State Farm, right? If you work under State Farm, you are a captive agent. You can only sell products for State Farm. That's it, right? Um, and if you own, like, if you're driving around in your city, you see a bunch of different locations for State Farms, and you see somebody's name on top of it. They're the broker. They are the that's their business, if that makes sense. They
It
would be
does.
the broker, right?
Okay.
Then you have non-captive agents. And oh wait, let me back up. The reason why I said it's similar to how real estate is, you said how agents can work under brokers, other brokers, or brokers can that kind of thing. That's kind of how that's how that would work with the captive agents as well. Agents can work under the one broker who can help all the other agents. Then you have non-captive agents. These are the non-hostages. Um,
Not us calling the agents hostages. Let's not do that.
I'm under that definition. I'm a non-hostage.
You're a hostage or
Not a
hostage
hostage.
or
I mean,
hostage.
you are affiliated with multiple insurance companies. So let's say, for instance, if you're looking at life insurance through Fidelity, or like if you initially had it through Fidelity, but you don't want Fidelity anymore, you want Corebridge, or you want Prudential, or you want Nationwide, or whoever. I have more access to different companies, um, and I work under a brokerage as well. I it's simply the same thing. You have your own business. It's the similar business structure. So all agents, no, all brokers are agents, but not all agents are brokers. The main two difference is whether or not you have people under you. You have your own business, and captive and non-captive, whether they work for one company or they have different affiliates with multiple companies. And neither one is good or bad because there's benefits to both of them, right? Like, and I guess the best way to explain it is like, say for instance, you want pizza. If you get it from Domino's, there's Domino's delivery drivers, but they only deliver for Domino's. But then you have Door Dashers who can deliver for all the pizza places. Those would be your non-captives. The one who only deliver for Domino's would be your captive. But like I said, there's good and bad things to both of them. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you want more options, you would go for a non-captive agent or that kind of a broker. If you want a one specific company, you might just go directly to that company, especially since the people who are working under that company would know more about that company than someone who just has affiliates to it. It was a delay for a second. But yeah, those are your main kinds of you know your basic types of real estate agents and your basic types of life insurance agents. So it just depends on what you're looking for. You looking for options, or you know for a fact you want this in one insurance company, you want the options within that insurance company.
I'm just talking and I'm muted. Okay. So, um, when it comes to on the real estate side, agents and brokers, there's just because an agent is not a broker, that does not necessarily mean that they don't have the experience. And that's really what you want to look at is the experience based on what you need. So you could have an agent, and I know several agents like this. They have been in the business for over a decade, but they're still real estate agents. That does not mean that they have more experience than a broker. It simply means that they just have an upgraded license. And again, when it comes to getting a broker's license, there's more education that is required of you. You have to understand how to run a business basically, and I'll leave it at that. But that does not necessarily mean that a broker has more experience than an agent. Typically they do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they do. So don't get too caught up in the license type. Just know that when you're talking to a broker, you're more often than not are talking to someone that owns a brokerage, more often than not. But again, you do, or that supervises other agents. Um, and the same is not
Right.
true for a real estate. So that's the only real difference. But when it comes to finding a real estate agent, to whether you're trying to buy real estate, sell real estate, or invest, you really want to focus on that person's experience based on what you need. So, for example,
Mhm.
if you are a veteran and you want someone that understands what it's like to be a veteran, or if you're active duty military, you want to look for someone that has that experience. Not that someone else won't have it, but when you work with someone that understands that the VA loan for one, when you work with someone that understands the family dynamics of a military family and how often you move if you're active military. Those things are very helpful when it comes to somebody that you add on your team, because that's basically what it is. Your real estate agent is the first person on your team. So to get you to
Mhm.
the championship, which is getting your home. So it's important
Right.
to look at that person's experience and ask questions. Always ask
That
questions.
was that was my biggest point. My biggest thing for any professional that you're going to for anything, but obviously specific to us, is go to someone you know, or not go to someone you know, go to someone who will allow you to ask questions. Because then you'll have people who will just be like, oh, you asking me too many questions, or that's not really a big deal. We're not gonna worry about that. If you have questions, they need to answer them. So if you
Absolutely.
have an agent and you're working with someone and they're not answering any of your questions, they're not being very helpful, they're not explaining things, they're just telling you, they're just saying, hey, this is what this is, this is what this is, but they're not explaining what all these things are to you. They're just either under the assumption that you know, or they don't care whether or not you know. They're just trying to make some money. That's kind of how you know if they don't really care about your experience and your end goal. Their end goal is just to make money, and that's all they really care about. So I would avoid people who do not care about your education around what you're doing, because this is your money. And you would want people to make sure that your money is being well spent, being well taken care of, and that you're not wasting it on just anything. They're making sure you're getting what you want and what you need. So make sure you can ask questions and they're explaining things.
Yeah. And to kind of piggyback off of that, this is just my experience. One of the biggest things um I look for, even when I'm working with other professionals, I am absolutely okay with someone who says, I don't know the answers to that, but I can find out, instead of making stuff up, because you can make something up and it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But I'd rather someone say, I don't know the answer to that question, or I'm not really sure, but I can find out. Like that, I think that's a good person to have on your team.
Yeah, I think I've done that a time or two just within the podcast, because I feel like there's been a question or two that you've asked me or vice versa. We were like, oh, I'm not sure. Let me go fact check that real quick. Because
Yeah,
like this goes on with another reoccurring thing that we've been having, is to always learn, always be a student. And that's who we are. So
absolutely.
if you have somebody who doesn't care about continuously growing, then that's definitely not a good person. I've always been like with anybody that I have worked with. Um, if they ask me a question that I'm not 100% sure about, even if they feel like I should know everything, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm not sure about that, but I can find out, or I can direct you to someone who does. And I feel like those are the people you
Absolutely.
need.
And then
Yeah.
also when it comes
As far
to
as,
finding, oh, I'm sorry, this delay
go ahead.
is okay.
It's trippy.
Also, when it comes to adding someone on your team, it is also important to understand the role of your real estate agent and the role of your insurance broker, because there are some things that are outside of our scope, right? While, and I'm speaking as a real estate broker agent, um, there are certain things that I know, but they're outside of my scope. Like I can tell you the difference between the different types of loans. However, I'm not a mortgage professional. That's not what I do every single day. So when it comes to that, understand that yes, I do have an awareness of the different types of programs, down payment assistance, all of those things, the whole process that it takes to purchase a home and the different moving pieces. But when it comes to the nuances and details of those things, that's not my lane. And I like to stay in my lane
Hmm.
because when I stay in my lane, I stay out of court. So, yes, yes, I
What's
can.
this? So funny. It's the same because, like, for me, while I can tell you the other retirement options that are outside of um, certain permanent life insurance options or an annuity, um, so things like a Roth or a 401k or 457 or other things like that, and even a certain type of life insurance called a variable universal life that involves the stock market. I don't have the securities licenses that are required to help somebody with those. However, I do know some information about those things. So even though um, I can't sell those to help like sell those products to you. Um, I mean, I can help you with a rollover to get the money out of those accounts and put them into an annuity or something like that. I can't do the reverse, right? But I have the information and I know where to go for you to get those things, right? My lane is life insurance and retirement using life insurance based methods. Anything outside of that, I can inform you as best as I can or send you to somebody who knows. That's it. That's it.
And that's what we're going to
So,
do.
right. So, mother,
What?
you have a new client, right? What are some things that you are looking for that can tell you, hey, this person is serious, this person actually wants to buy, or things that be like, I think they just here to waste my time. What are you? Tell the people how to avoid being the waste my time people.
Um, First thing is, do you listen? Are you listening to what I'm saying, or are you just you already have an idea in your head and you're just waiting for me to say what I'm gonna say so you can say what you're gonna say?
That's a big one because,
Um,
like, if you're just having an idea in your head, it's like putting a brick on the inside of your on either side of your ear. So anytime new information comes, it's just it can't go in. You know,
yeah,
blocked it off. That's a big
yeah.
one.
So yeah, you have to um are you listening to me? Second, do you are you a person that does what you say you're gonna do? If I say, hey, it'll be helpful for you right now to well, let me say it this way. These are the things that the lender is going to ask you for, right? You're going to need your tax returns. You're going to need your bank statements. You're going to need your check stubs. You're going to need those things when you get ready to talk to the lender. So go ahead and get that now. So when you talk to the lender, you can go ahead and submit that. and I'll talk to you on Wednesday, and then I'll make you the connection and you can talk to the lender. So I'll check in with you on Wednesday and you
I
say,
ain't did not a
oh,
single thing.
I, I was too busy. I didn't do it. Okay, I'll give you one time. First time, okay, I get it. I get it. I say, okay, let's when do you think you can get it done? If there are excuses or I'm not sure, then I know that there's something that, and this is not, and as I'm answering this question, I'm not judging someone. I'm not judging, because I understand in order to make a decision, there has to be a internal motivation. It can't be something that I say to make you
Mhm.
move forward process. So, because it doesn't matter what I say, if there's no internal motivation, if there's not that one thing, that pain point for you, whether it be paying high rent, you need to move, or whatever the motivation is, your family is growing. If that's not painful enough, then nothing I say is gonna work. And so that's what I listen for. I'm listening for the whatever the pain is. If there's no urgency, if there's no if there's some lingering doubt, I try to address that. Um,
Yeah,
but
because that's
if
based out
there's
of
some
kind of
if there's
fear.
some yeah, because if there's some resistance, then I know, hey, this may not be um this may not be the time, or
Right.
if there's something is not clicking, something is missing. So, but again, it's not, because there are people who I've heard the term, so many different terms, looky loos or tire kickers, all of the things. Like, there are people who they just want to know. They're not necessarily ready to move forward today, and that's okay. I
Yeah,
I just know that it's helpful if you are a person that you just want the information, because at some point you just don't know when that point is. Be upfront and tell that real estate agent, hey, I know I'm not ready to buy now, but I'm just trying to get some information so I know how to move
yeah.
forward. And that
Nothing
that
wrong with
that
that.
goes a long way. That saves you time, and that saves the agent time as well.
Right. Yeah, that goes the same. That um that goes for a lot of things. Just be upfront. If you know for a fact that you are either not ready to purchase a home, or not ready to um your church slide out is so funny to me. You just forgot the finger. Um I if you're not ready to get your life insurance, or there are some things that are leaving you uncertain, or like you said, there's that doubt, it comes from some kind of fear of something. And that's something I think you and I talked about, or myself and another business partner, we talked about just the idea of not being ready to do something because of fear. And when there's a lot of money involved, that is completely understandable, especially if you come from um either a low income background and you finally got to a point where you're able to do something. It can be scary. um for anyone, it will make a lot of sense. I think the biggest thing is just to be honest about that. Like, hey, I want to do this, but I'm afraid of XYZ. I'm afraid that it won't pan out. I'm afraid of wasting money. I'm afraid of losing money. I'm afraid of whatever the case may be, right? Just be 100% honest about that right up front. And if you have the right agent will try to help you navigate that, so that
Yeah,
you can still get what you need and kind of overcome those fears.
absolutely. Because there's nothing wrong with not being ready. There's no judgment if you're not ready. Um, and I won't go in any more details about that, because if I start talking more, I'll be talking to real estate agents at this point. But just know that if you are someone who is curious about the home buying process. You're curious about life insurance. You heard somebody say something over here about life insurance. You know somebody that just bought a house. There's nothing wrong with asking the questions. And I will say there are real estate professionals out there who will take the time to answer your questions, knowing that you're not ready. Even and that's why I said just make sure on the front end you say that. And the same thing with life insurance. You know that you need it. You just got to figure out how to make it work for your budget, and that's totally fine. Just ask those questions and be upfront. So that's all I got about that.
Right. Pretty much just make sure you know, because if you, especially if you're getting information from one source or everyone's big source, TikTok, and you're not sure about information,
Is it really?
it'd
Is that
be
really the place? Is that the
a
biggest
lot
source
of
of
people get
information
their
right
information from mother people use TikTok like Google.
Really?
Like you can use it as a search engine. Yes. It has changed a lot since America bought it, and I'm gonna leave it at that because that makes me mad. But yes, people use TikTok as their Google now, especially young Gen Z. And some older
Oh,
Gen Z. I'm older Gen Z technically, but I'm more millennial at heart, which is so funny to me. I just talked to somebody else about this. Regardless, um,
I don't
the
know, child.
TikTok, if you get your information from the internet,
Yeah.
always get
Which
find a
you
professional
also,
to verify it.
yeah,
Get somebody
yeah,
to verify it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can, if you came up to me and or came up to my mom and said, "Hey, I saw this thing on TikTok about IULs. Is this true?" Or I saw this thing about. Actually, I just got a video sent to me. It was supposed to go to you, but she sent it to me a couple days ago asking something that we had talked about previously. I pay this much in rent. That means I can afford this much in mortgage. Is that true? That is
yeah,
1000% okay to come to us and ask about, or come to go to any agent and ask about, because it is great to verify those information, verify that information.
yeah.
So, yeah, if you're looking to be a client, the biggest thing we say is to be honest. Be honest
Please.
at the beginning, at the first meeting. Be 1000% honest. Don't wait until things start looking a little shaky.
And to that point, a lot of people, and this is what I've learned from doing homebuyer workshops and talking to different people. Um, Money is a very sensitive subject, so I can absolutely understand someone's hesitancy. So just know that it's okay to ask the same question repeatedly, because at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable discussing your money because money is a very sensitive subject. The having it and the lack of having it too. So
Yeah,
that's
I'd
all
rather
I
you.
got.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd rather you ask me the same question 10 times and go through something and be unsure, or not ask, or on the bad end, if you avoided asking me something or avoided asking you something, and that one question could have been the difference between of how much money you could have spent or could have saved.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's all. That's all I got. You have your different kinds of agents. You have the information you need to be a good client. Be honest. Be open. Look for somebody who's ready to help.
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much. This is a quicker
Thank you.
one.
It's
We didn't yap too much this time.
not yap.
Yeah, that's the lingo.
I know your sister says it often.
Yeah, she calls me a certified yapper.
That is hilarious. Yeah, I have a phenomenal day. And we'll talk to y'all soon. The certified yapper and the I don't know what I am.
The originator. I
The
get it from
mother of the
you.
certified. The,
No,
I'm the
when I
I'm
called you before
the
recording, what
OG
did you
yapper.
say?
Wait a minute.
Yes, because when
Wait a
I
minute.
called you to start recording, your first thing you said was, "Oh, I'm talking."
So, did you just call me the OG yapper? That is
You
crazy.
called yourself that.
Y'all
All
be
right, y'all.
easy. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Yo, peace. All right, y'all. Hope you learned something today. Now you know what to look for when you're looking for an agent for either real estate or for life insurance. You are looking for someone who you can ask questions. They'll answer every single one of them. They will be patient with you and take their time with you and actually educate you on what you are looking for. But also, as a client, make sure you're going in there with an ear for learning and education, and be open and honest about what you are looking for, especially if you're just looking for information and you're not really ready to take that first step. It always, always helps and saves you and the agent a whole lot of time. Okay? So, as always, you can reach out to us. For my mom, you can reach out to her at the Shanita Johnson on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. That's SHANITA. Or you can send her an email with the subject of real life to Shanita at ShanitaJohnson.com. That's SHANITA at ShanitaJohnson.com. Or you can reach out to me for all things life insurance, RJ.John on Instagram, RA.J.John on TikTok and on YouTube. Future planning with Ari, and then you can also send me an email with the subject of real life to arianjjohnson@gmail.com. That is ARIYANJjohnson@gmail.com. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we will see y'all next week.